So today we're talking about taking both sides of the story, understanding what the script in your head is and how you can actually flip that script and try to actually look at stuff in a more compassionate way. So let's take both sides of the story on episode 43 of The Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. So today we're talking about looking at both sides of the story. We often find ourselves writing a script about just something that may happen to us, and we take that and we tell ourselves a certain story or write ourselves a script as to what the other person may be thinking, saying, or even doing. And we're going to be hashing that out. I almost said hashtagging it. We're going to kind of hash this out a little bit. But before we actually do that, just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to choose to listen to this podcast because I know that there are so many out there that are just brimming with so much information, and I like to try to make sure that mine has as much information in there and probably has a little more. And I try to pack this with as much actionable information as I possibly can. So if you come across something on here that you really like, you think it is incredibly helpful, then please take this and share it out to your friends and followers on social media. You can also, sorry about that. But if you take this, and hopefully we don't have too much, hyper purring. So we had Moo decide to hop in the lap. Anyhow, of course, you start recording, the kids have got to hang around. So anyhow, where was I? Anyhow, talking about sharing. So, and you too, Banks. Okay, we've got two of them. All we need is one more, and we've got a full house of our orange cats. All right. So yeah. But anyhow, so share this out with your friends if you find it, entertaining because, you get the random cat hopping into my lap, or you're just, or if you come across something that you just find, incredibly helpful, share it out with your friends, share it out with your followers on social media. If this is your first time listening, awesome, great, thanks for listening. And but if you've listened to me several times and have gone to the website or followed links that I've thrown up on the different social media sites, and you're liking that, then please go ahead, click. You can subscribe, if I can get the right word out. You can subscribe to the show by going to relaxedmale.com/subscribe. That has links to all the different ways that you can actually subscribe to Relaxed Male. And you can, so if you're a fan of using like Overcast for iOS, you can do that. Pocket Cast for iOS or Android. I've got a link there for that. You can also go to relaxedmale.com / pretty much whatever there is. And I will have a link going to that app's directory's location. If not, you can shoot me a message and I will definitely be adding that in there as I go. But share it out, follow, and you can you'll be able to get each and every episode as they come available, which is around 3:00 in the morning in the U.S. and on Thursdays. And so I think that's just about covers. There's not really any big news to really share, so we won't be having any news available. But we do have a question of the week, and so let's go ahead and jump into that. Now, if you like to have you have a question for me and you like to have answered, then you can go also shoot me an email by sending to Brian with a Y at relaxedmail.com. Or if you like, you can go to relaxedmail.com/contact, and there's a contact form there that you can actually send a message over to me, and I would be happy to answer that question, dilemma, mindset issue that you're having. Today didn't get anything, or this week didn't get anything, so we're actually going off of Quora, and the question is, I want to drop out of high school. Should I? And the Reader's Digest version is, I told this person, no, you don't need to check out of high school just because you feel you want to. But what I actually told him was, well, it depends on how hard you actually want your life to be. If you don't finish high school, you're going to have a harder time being successful, because right now you're just immediately just catering to something that is easier. It is easier to finish, to quit high school than to just go ahead and power on and go for those last 3 years that you're done. You've made it, 3/4 of the way through your high school, career. You only have 3 more years to go, and this guy's going to be, or gal is going to be basically finished with her high school. But you're not going to stop learning. When it comes to schools, yeah, you finish school, you can go on to college if you want. You can go do nothing if you want. You can go to a trade school if you want. There's a whole series of a whole different paths that you can take. Some that your parents are going to like, some that your parents aren't going to like, some that you're going to like, some that you're not going to like. But the key point of powering it through high school is just show yourself and to prove to yourself that you can actually do it. It doesn't even matter so much about what type of pride it's going to give your parents. It's a sense of accomplishment for you, because you know exactly how much this really sucks. I remember how much high school really sucked. I had a good school. I had a good school that I was going out. I liked everybody I was going to school with, but it's high school. I was tired of the itty bitty small town that I lived in. I wanted to go do other things and be on my own and, get out from underneath what I perceived to be the oppressive thumb of my parents and all that, all the garbage and all the stories and and then we're getting into that scripts that we write ourselves and we tell ourselves. But if let this person know that if you quit, you're always going to be not always, but you're more likely to be citing towards the easier things in life. And the easier things in life are not going to help you grow. They're not going to help you be successful. And you're probably going to be making way less than $30,000 a year. Yeah. And you might think, well, it's not all about money. Well, actually, yeah, it is all about money. Believe it or not, you can't have a house unless you have money. You can't eat unless you have money. You can't do anything unless you have money. You're going to be broke, living under a bridge, wishing for food. And none of that food is going to show up unless someone gives somebody money. So why don't you give yourself the chance to be able to eat the nicer food, the better food, what you like, by doing just a little bit of suffering and getting through the difficult parts and make it to through the sucky sections of school. Because yeah, I understand school's not fun, but there are worse things in life than going to school. Yeah, you have to get up early. Oh, wow. Guess what? You have to get up early for work too. Even if you work so that you can eat some food before you have to go to work. So you're always getting up. You're always only getting, a certain amount of sleep. you can think, yeah, I'm going to sleep all day. Well, no, you've got things you have to do. So it's the same as when you get off of work. There's things you have to do in the evening time before you go to bed. So there's things you have to do when you get off of work before you go to bed. There's a lot of inconveniences in life. And when you're when you're running around with a not less than college graduate education, you're not making not making that much money. The significance between a college, high school dropout and someone who is a high school graduate, surprisingly, is quite a bit. It's most college dropouts typically, and I'm saying typically because there are those who have made themselves into multimillionaires and didn't complete high school, but they also had they have some different extenuating circumstances. If you're quitting just to quit because, I really don't care to go to high school no more. Well, then that's you going, I don't want to do something uncomfortable anymore. Well, sorry, you're going to have to do uncomfortable stuff. You can either do uncomfortable stuff now and learn how to control the desire to just quit, or you can learn that later because, sorry, you're going to face, difficulty down the road. So I recommend that, yeah, though high school sucks, stay in school, reward yourself by actually learning how to persevere through something that is really crappy and sucky. And that's basically what I told them. So with that, we go into on how to look at both sides of the story. Now, to do this, I actually call it flipping the script, because what a script is essentially is the story that you tell yourself. What does that tell? You go through you're going down the highway and some bozo, cut you off. You're going to either go, oh my God, he's such a jerk. He's so inconsiderate. He's, you come up with some colorful, imaginative words for him, but you really don't know what was going on. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention. He feels really bad. He probably is going, oh God, that dude's probably yelling at me. And he's probably got the dude who's driving probably has some type of, may have some form of social anxiety. And now he's beating himself up because he went off and cut you off and knows that he's probably made you mad. And he feels horrible about it. And you're sitting there just yelling at him, screaming at him and through windshield, which he's not hearing because, there's two windshields between you and a car length distance. There's a lot of different things. You don't know the whole story. And what we are reacting from are the thoughts that we have. And those thoughts are the scripts that we are writing. Brooke Castillo calls them manuals. A lot of times we may even we may write scripts for our spouse. Have you ever sat down and, you think, well, you're getting mad at your wife because, you're wanting to say, you would like for the kitchen to be clean, supper to be on the table, and, you have sex 3 times a week. All right. And in all reality, she's not doing any of that. It's not that, you may come home and she may be in the process of finishing up supper and you get home and you sit down, you relax. She starts asking you about your day and you're just trying to unwind, and it's not going anywhere according to what you think the script should actually be. And what it does is just builds up the anxiety, the aggravation of the fact that you are still trying to unwind from a busy day at work. And, you're expecting to have sex 3 times a week, and you may get it, every other week or maybe a month. And you're trying to figure out what in the heck's her problem, why she doesn't want, what is it she doesn't, why she's not having it. And you're just holding this resentment in. You've got this script that you're not communicating about. And when it comes to writing your script, it's good to get the other person's side. you can actually, or you can even go as far as actually handing them the script. You can say this is what I'm expecting. Expectations is another word for writing a script. This is what I expect from this. This is how I expect you to act. Now, you can hand that to them, but you have to be okay with the fact that they don't exactly have to follow that. They can look at it and go, 3 times a week? Yeah, that ain't happening, dude. I've got 3 kids and we're not doing any more of them. And, I know what happens after sex, and I'm always the one that has to sleep in the wet spot, and there could be reasons, and it may be that she would love to do 3 times a week, but you're not showing up as the man of the house. You're not giving her a reason to be turned on. You're not wowing her and wooing her and treating her as your girlfriend. You're treating her as the roommate who happens to have the kids all day. And you're just like, well, I've had the kid. I was burnt out, busting my butt. What were you doing? Sitting around watching television, watching the kids. Except for the fact that you don't know that she was been running all over town, running the kids to 37 different activities that you wanted them to be in. There's a lot of little nuances and a lot of tales. Yeah. No one is fully blameless for the situations that they're in. And if you can stop and take the responsibility for your thoughts and responsibility for your actions and your emotions, you can actually be a lot better off than if you were to just, if you're sit there and just be writing your script and writing out this full list of expectations and items and wants and desires without ever sharing them with anybody. A lot of people step back and they go, well, I can't go to I hate going to my parents' house because my parents they're not like ordinary parents. Well, I would actually suggest you sit down and write out, hey, dude, what are your expected, what are normal parents supposed to be? Well, they're supposed to be loving and kind and they shouldn't criticize, and they are glad when you show up and help you when you're having problems. And when all of a sudden they don't fulfill that script, they don't act out that part that you want them to act out in a way that is to your liking, then all of a sudden you're bent out of shape because they're not being a normal parent or normal family. Well, families are just a group of people who or not even genetically, but people who are close knit and are related to each other. But the key word is that they're people. They're humans. And so, yeah, especially when you throw emotions into the mix, we get really messy. We don't do anything that you would expect us to actually do. We may have a thought, and that thought generates an emotion. And that emotion may not be is not going to be the same emotion that you generate. As I've said, whenever you have a set of circumstances, those circumstances create an emotion or create a thought, and those thoughts create emotions. And those emotions are all yours. And we are responding to those emotions when we try to figure out why so-and-so is all mad. And we don't have the full script to fully understand. And how to get around to understanding is talking, is actually communicating, not interjecting your side, not trying to control the situation. Don't try to control it, but just let it be, let it happen. Hear what that person says and come at the problem or with a solution that doesn't control. And that may just mean that you have to just listen and hear and maybe just validate the fact that they are, feeling lonely, that they're feeling unheard by saying something along the lines of like, I do hear you. I see you. I see that the problem that you're having is maddening. I understand no one believes you that, that X, Y, or Z happen. No one believes that it wasn't your fault to run into that you ran into the side of the house. It was, I'm sure it was the brakes. Now, it's not that you're holding them accountable, because to means holding a person accountable can be a bit controlling. And that's one problem that a lot of us parents have, especially with our kids, is we see them doing something. And a lot of times we can predict what's going on, because, they're going off of the inexperience of life, and they're doing a lot of the same dumb things that you did when you were their age. And so you can kind of see what's going on. And so, you might be able to predict when your son is sneaking in alcohol and is thinking of sneaking out the following night to go to a party. You might be able to guess those out. You might be able to foresee those. But then to sit there and be angry and stomp around and yell at them is not going to fix the issue at all. Especially if the cat's already out of the bag. You've already busted them for that as they came walking in. They made the choice. So to sit there and try to control a situation from there and to run a particular script on them is not going to do any good. You want to be able to have an understanding. So it would it would actually be a lot better if, say, you have a problem with your son sneaking out and going and doing other rebellious things. It'd probably be better just to take him with you one day on some weekend and take him out to, somewhere there's not any cell signal. So he gets bored enough that he has to actually talk to you. And just have a conversation, and you just listen. And he's not going to talk much at first. He may talk much all that day. But if you are there and you listen to what the talk is, and he tries to give you reasons that he should be able to go, and you have your reasons why he shouldn't, that's a means for a discussion. To sit there and go, well, because I'm the parent and I said so. I've used that excuse, and I'll let you know, especially if you're just now if you've got kids who are younger than teenagers, that line doesn't work. And if you have the ability to say, I'm the parent because I said so, go ahead and give them full reason why, because you're just telling them, well, you're not my answer, or you are not worthy of the answer that I would like to give you. So tell them exactly why, because there's a good chance you're going to get busted, and you're going to go to jail. That's a bad thing to happen for you. I would prefer not to have to go and bail my son out of jail because he got caught with minor in possession, or he got caught contributing to the delinquency of a minor. All these things that are more than likely going to happen. Or you may be going to a rougher side of town, and it may be, dude, I really don't want you to go because I really don't want to have to go identify your body in the morgue. And they may not understand that. They may not understand the depth of what that problem of that answer is, and go, oh, geez, Dad, I'm not going to get killed. I'm not going to get, anybody pulls a gun out, I'm going to run it. Well, it doesn't matter. Bullets go a heck of a lot faster than you can run. So when your son has a problem, you can sit down, you can have a discussion, get his side. Don't just run off of what your mind is. Oh, he's just being a moody teenager. Is he really? Maybe he had a girlfriend and she just broke up with him, and it was the best, 4 months of his life. Or maybe he tried to do something really hard, like go and ask the girl of his dreams, to go to prom or to go to the dance. I don't even know if kids these days have dances. I really don't think so. But anyhow, to go to a dance, and she shot him down and said, no, I wouldn't care to go to a dance with you. And so he may be angry at the fact that, he didn't even get a chance to go on a date with the ideal girl. And that's where, instead of playing off of a script and sitting down and listening and getting both sides of the story help out tremendously and allow you to become a more balanced husband. Yeah, the things that are going to be said are going to make you uncomfortable. They're going to make your son uncomfortable. Same thing was that if you're sitting down and you're talking with your wife, why is it that we don't have sex more often, or why can't we do X, Y, and Z? And the reasons that she give are going to be her reasons. And to sit down and go, well, that's a really stupid reason to have, is not helping the conversation any. You're immediately saying, you know what? I don't want to hear your side of the script. I want my side of the script read. Mine matters more than yours. And that just really isn't a good way to try to hold a relationship with your wife, your spouse, your son, daughter, co-workers, or anything like that, where you try to control the story, where you can try to control what's happening. Never actually works out. So with that, go ahead and we're going to call this the end. And I want to thank you very much for listening. So what did we learn today? And let's go ahead and start trying to voice out the actionable parts. What did we learn? Learn that we're all going to have a story that we tell ourselves. The script. And it may be very hastily written, like someone has pulled out in front of you and you almost ran into them and you think they're a jerk. Or it may be a very long, involved script that has come about from years and years of a relationship. But unless you're doing some good, deep, dedicated conversations and getting deep into the minutia of a particular topic, you're never going to have the full story. You're not going to understand, why your dad left after 4 years of marriage and while you were 2 years old. You're not going to understand why that is unless you actually sit down and you talk to mom and you talk to your dad and you get all the points of the story and you balance out what is wrong with this one or what's wrong with that one. And you get to the heart of the matter, and it may be that your dad left because mom had an affair. The judge decided that you needed to stay with mom. These things happen. So to sit there and try to blame your dad for not being there all this time could actually be, only a portion of the story. It could be that he's tried. Maybe he wrote you a letter once a week for the last 25 years and you've never seen one of those letters. Why? Because every time your mom got the letters, she was just throwing them away. And you didn't find out about it until you happened to look down and see, oh, there's a letter from dad in the trash. And why? Talk to people, work on the communications. Yeah, those communication things are so messy. They're so uncomfortable because eventually emotions get involved, and those emotions are so messy and so unwanted. But in all reality, no, those emotions are what make us incredibly beautiful humans, and we wouldn't be that way unless we had those emotions. So talk to your son. He's not going to talk. He may not want to talk to you, or he may just grunt at you a little bit here and there. But as you talk and as you keep hanging around, keep probing, trying to get into his world, eventually he will start opening up, and you'll start developing a relationship with him, and and you can both start coming to the ability of understanding what each other is thinking and where you're coming from and why you think. Take the time, go out. Well, my my app keeps crashing on me. So I guess while I am still have you here, I'll go ahead and let you go. And I want to say thank you very much for listening. Take the time, go out, listen, talk to your wife, talk to your son, especially with those weird times that you have the odd thoughts in your where people disappoint you in what you expected to actually happen. Find out what those expectations were, understand what you were thinking of as the expectations happen, and then see what you can do on getting the rest of the story. Now, normally I would do an affirmation at the end of the day, but because we're having a little bit of a recording issue, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let you go. But if you like the show, please give me rate and review. It's not that it gets me any higher in the rankings, but gives me some social proof. You can do that over at iTunes. You can go to relaxmail.com/iTunes, and that'll take you over to my iTunes page. I couldn't get the words out, and leave a rating and review on how many what you think of the show. If you're on Android, you can also go to relaxmail.com/Podchaser, PODCHASER, Podchaser. And that'll take you to our Podchaser page. And there you can leave a rating and review. If you really like to help me try to get up a little higher in the ratings, then, in your Apple Podcast app, if you could click subscribe. If you're using Google Podcasts, again, subscribe. That'll help get me a little higher in some of the different rankings out there. The more downloads, the more and subscriptions there are, the better the more we rise up in the ratings. So that's how all that works. But anyhow, I know I'm yabbering, still carrying on. Y'all take care. Thank you again for listening. We will catch you next week. Till then, go talk to someone.